Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
So we're coming to you live today from here in Brunswick, Georgia, with the family of Ahmaud Arbery as we've been covering the trial. And been here, we've been marching today, we've been court watching today. We have been all over Brunswick, Georgia.
Right.
Folks, let me tell you, if you have the ability to come down to Brunswick, Georgia, we need you to come, because we need you to come and stand with the Arbery family. We need you to come and stand for justice for Ahmaud. That's what this is about right now. My name is Attorney Darrell Jones. I'm the co-leader of the Transformative Justice Coalition, and on behalf of Barbara Arnwine and myself and all the family of Ahmaud Arbery, as well as the Transformative Justice Coalition, we welcome you to this evening's Teletown Hall. We hope that you will find this as informational as we have intended it to be. What we're going to be doing this evening is that we're going to be discussing some of the substance of the recent developments that have happened in this case, in the murder case of Ahmaud Arbery. And folks, let me tell you, if you are wondering what has been going on, I can tell you we're wondering the same thing. Because there have been motions that have been filed that have just, you know, as a prosecutor, former prosecutor, as a current criminal defense attorney, so over 20 years experience, I have never seen motions filed as frivolous, as scandalous, as the motions that have been filed in this case by the defense attorney, Kevin Goff, here today. And, you know, it's my pleasure to introduce to some and to reacquaint to others a person that is the president as well as the founder of the Transformative Justice Coalition. She is a voting rights champion. We call her the Voting Rights Champion of America. When Congress has a question with regards to voting rights, they call Barbara Arnwine. When folks that have expertise in the area of voting rights have issues, they call Barbara Arnwine. When the President of the United States wants to know what should be done on voting rights issues and what's germane to the people that are on the ground, the voters that are on the ground, the call goes out to Barbara Arnwine. Ladies and gentlemen, today at the courthouse we had the extreme pleasure of having with us Bishop William Barber.
Yes.
And if you have not heard the words of Bishop Barber as he delivered them from the Glenn County Courthouse steps, you need to go back to YouTube or whatever social media that carried it and listen to those words, because he made it real. He connected it all so that everyone understood what this was about, why we're down here in Glenn County, Georgia, for this Ahmaud Arbery trial, and that it's not, while the focus is on Ahmaud Arbery, but the focus will be on everyone, because it could have been anyone's son, anyone's daughter that had met this flight. So if you get that opportunity, please, you know, research it on social media, find it with Bishop Barber and his comments. They were just outstanding remarks. I want to introduce the others that are here at the head table, and then I will turn it over to Barbara Arnwine for her remarks. We have from the Poor People's Campaign, La Dominique Hamilton, who is the Deputy Director of Communications. Marie Roberts, who has been just a tremendous supporter of the Arbery family. And we have with us the father of Ahmaud, who has just been a crusader for justice, who has just been tireless in his fight, who's out there fighting, going down, fighting for his son when he was by himself, he started this. He was fighting for justice for Ahmaud when no one else knew that we needed to be fighting for justice for Ahmaud. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's my pleasure to introduce at our head table today one of the freedom fighters, one of the people that, you know, when we talk about black men, and their families. He epitomizes what it means to be a black man involved in your family's life and loving your family and loving your child and being certain that justice is going to be served. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Marcus Arbery. So I'm going to turn it over to Barbara Arnwine for her opening comments. I'm going to ask her a question as she brings her opening comments to this teletown hall. And the question I'm asking is this. One of the things that happened in the courthouse today, approximately 2 p.m., as we were preparing for our Justice for Ahmaud march throughout Brunswick, that one of the defense counsels, Kevin Goff, made a statement to the court and a motion to the court. His statement to the court was that he felt as though the presence of Reverend Al Sharpton, the presence of Bishop Barber, were intimidating the jury. Now, he got it confused because he thought that Reverend Jesse Jackson had been here and that he was intimidating the jury. He was off, but he wasn't that far off because Reverend Jackson is going to be here on next Thursday. And he will be leading the march along with the Arbery family next Thursday as we go through Brunswick. But interestingly, Mr. Goff made the motion that because of this problem that he believed that he saw, that he wanted to stop. He wanted to ban all black clergy from coming into the courtroom. Ban black clergy. Now, I guess what he had forgotten was that before Marcus came into the courtroom this morning, and correct me if I'm wrong, Marcus, there was a rabbi that was praying with him. There have been white ministers that have come and stood with the Arbery family, have prayed with the family. So,
and come into the courtroom.
And come into the courtroom. Thank you, Barbara. Right. So, Barbara, the question that I want you to respond to as you do your introductory remarks. When Kevin Goff made this statement with regards to the black clergy, and we know that he's made a similar statement with regards to black organizations, specifically the Transformative Justice Coalition, being banned from the courtroom. He's made statements with regards to black media being banned from the courtroom. He participated in a jury selection process that tried to ban all the black participants on the jury. Barbara Arnwine, what are we supposed to make of all this?
Well, first of all, giving honor unto God and thanking everybody who is here for this national teletown hall tonight, because they've been marching, people. They've been out. They've been out on the front lawn of the courtyard all day long, some since 9 o'clock this morning. And Marcus Arbery has been in that courtroom watching the testimony all day long. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. I want to just thank you for giving this commitment to this family. You got to remember, everybody, again, for the record, let's never get it wrong or twisted or distorted or lost, is that had it not been for the Arbery family, there would be no trial.
Amen.
Had it not been for the Arbery family, there would be no indictment. They never would have gotten arrested. They never would have gotten charged. They never would have been on trial. If it had not been for the Arbery family, that video would never have made it to see the light of day.
Yes, sir.
Because, let's be clear, we know now that they had the video from day one and did not provide it to the public, to the family, to anybody. We know right now that It took everybody, I'm not kidding you, nationwide, when you hear me, you are not hearing wrong. It took 74 days for them to arrest these white vigilantes for killing Ahmaud Arbery. 74 days. The prosecutor, when Greg McMichael called her up and said, I need your help, because he had been a former investigator for her office and had worked for her, he called her and said, I need your help. Guess what she said? She said to the police, don't arrest him. She said, go home and clean yourself up. Think about it, you guys. 3 men admittedly were involved in his killing. 3 men. One told the police that he had driven, chased the guy. The other one was on the back of the car with a .357 Magnum and admitted that he had done that he was on the back of the truck with the .357 Magnum. They didn't even arrest them. They didn't even take him down to the to the police headquarters. They only took Travis McMichaels down and not under arrest. And they released him. They released him. So I don't want people to get this twisted, that the intent here had been to cover this death up. They lied to the family, told the family that Ahmaud was killed inside a house while involved in a robbery. Just lied. And the family, they thought, somehow they think that black people can't think. Because the family said, well, wait a minute. How's he killed inside the house and the body's on the ground in the street? How does that make any sense? And the family started unraveling piece after piece after piece after lie after lie. And all this time, Jackie Johnson is telling the family, I got your back. Just lying, knowing that she's already scuttled the case. I got your back. And then it wasn't bad enough, because once she did her lies, and once she got so deep into her contradiction that she had to, recuse herself from the case, they turned it over to Barnhill, and Barnhill, it doesn't even take that man a week to say that it was self-defense. No investigation. They hadn't even finished the investigation. And this rascal says that it is self-defense. So he had to go. It took the GBI to come in, the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, to take over the case before we could get any kind of investigation done. So when you're hearing the trial and you're hearing about the files being turned over to the GBI, that's why. That's the background. Because you got to understand everything is contextual. I want you to know that when we met the Arbery family last year in December, we made a pledge to the family, to Ruby Arbery, to Diane Arbery. We pledged that we would stand by the family. We've pledged it. And then in February, Marcus, remember we had the National Teletown Hall. And February the 23rd, on Ahmaud's death date. And we had that National Teletown Hall. And we said then that there would be no day of the trial that we wouldn't be here. And Daryl and I came down in March for the first hearing. And we walked into the courtroom, and Goff was saying that there were all these demonstrators outside, raising hell, threatening people. People, let me tell you, there was nobody outside. Nobody outside. He already was engaging into his racial fear-mongering. But I'll tell you one thing, Daryl and I looked at the fact that there was no one outside, and we said, that can't be. There has to be, the community has to be out here. The Arbery family has to be supported. We are going to go back and work on that. It's not good enough just for the two of us to be here. But there needs to be a wider community perspective because, as Daryl will tell you in a minute, this is our Emmett Till moment. This is our Emmett Till moment. We can't let a vicious racial hate crime take place and let people try to lie themselves out of it. They ought to have pled guilty. They should be prostrating themselves in front of this family and saying, forgive us. And instead, they're talking nonsense that we heard back in the slavery days about they protecting their community. What about Ahmad's right to protect his life? I mean, come on. You know, that the worst thing about Satilla Shores is every time I go there, the thing that hurts me to my heart, that renders me just silent, that almost tears me apart, is knowing that that child was jogging, never had an idea that he was in mortal danger. Had no clue. No clue. He had no clue. He had no warning. There's no trespass sign, was nowhere to be found on the house. The doors were wide open. There were no doors. No doors, no garage doors, nothing. And we know that other people went into that house. They showed it today. But nobody went hunting the children, the white kids who went in there. Nobody went hunting the white couple. Nobody. They knew where they were. They didn't even go looking for them. They didn't talk about identifying them. Instead, they were obsessed with a black man, with a black child, obsessed with him. From the minute that he walked in, they knew he took nothing. They were told over and over and over again that he took nothing. But they just didn't like the fact that in their white neighborhood, a black man was jogging through. It just killed them because they saw that as encroachment. They saw that as the wrong thing. You know what? The first thing I'll tell you, and I was so glad Dr. Barber talked about it because he and I talked about this. When I first saw the first tape and watched Ahmad wandering around in the home, I said he's just like me. Because when I was a child, I would go to construction sites. I love to wonder, how many have gone into a new home that was under construction that wasn't yours? How many of us have? That we do. Dreaming and saying to ourselves, one day, we say one day, or we even play games and say, that's gonna be my house. That's my house. Me and my husband gonna have this house. I mean, we talk like that to ourselves because we dream. We smell that new wood, wow. We see the outline of the rooms, we go, wow. We see how they build and we say, I would have done that differently. We do that. When I built my last house in 2001, when I went to visit my home, my neighbors would meet me at the door. Talk about, I've been in your house. I love your bathroom. I love your kitchen. Oh, I see you did so and so and so. And they all had been in there. And they were saying, you should think about doing this and so on, because they all had been in my house. Then I put up a fight that I run and get the police and talk about breaking and entering. I just laughed. And I asked them, well, how's yours different? And so on and so on. And that's how neighbors do. But that's because what? We see each other as humans.
Right, there you go.
They never saw Ahmad as a human being. They never saw him as a person at 25 who could have dreams. They never saw anything. So in this moment when Kevin Goff has made these vicious motions. Because remember, folks, I want you to know, I kid you not, I'm no prophet, but when I got up this morning, I actually said to somebody I was talking to, I said, I wonder what he's going to file this week. Because every week he files a motion to ban black folks. I said, what is he going to do this week? He filed the motion against us 3 weeks ago. He filed a motion against us 2 weeks ago to ban the Transformative Justice Coalition from the courthouse grounds about we intimidating potential jurors. Then he filed a motion last Friday saying that they needed to ban the Transformative Justice Coalition from the courthouse grounds again. Don't even want to see our black faces. Don't even want us out there. And so I had said, what is he going to do this week? And there he comes, Daryl, to your question. There he comes, filing a motion about black pastors. But wait a minute, you guys, he's so dumb that as he's talking about black pastors and about Al Sharpton being in the courtroom, he says, I didn't even know he was there. And contradicted himself and said, I don't even think the jury knew he was there. But that's still intimidating to know he was there. I mean, how stupid. And then, and then to make it worse, you guys, it was bad enough that he made the motion. But what I find absolutely insulting, absolutely inexcusable, is his refrain where he says to the prosecution that said something weak, that made zero sense. They could have been a lot better in their answer and reply. But he says, he gets up and speaks again and says, well, what if we had people coming in here dressed as Colonel Sanders and with white masks on? So he's equating black preachers to the Ku Klux Klan. White mask. White mask. Come on, folks. There, he's talking about Al Sharpton, who has marched over and over for people's rights. He's talking about Reverend Dr. William Barber, who has fought around the country for the rights of the poor to have a decent wage, decent housing. He's equating Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr., who stood on the balcony with Dr. King as he was assassinated, with the Ku Klux Klan. This is not funny. This is wicked and evil. This is the dying gas of white supremacy. And we say, bye. It's time to go. It's time for a new order. It's time for a new multiracial society where we can love each other and respect each other and see a black child running and say, run on, baby. Run on, baby. Instead of being determined to try to kill the person. There is an old quote that says, here comes the dreamer, let us kill him. And that is what we have seen in this moment. Yes, so I just want everybody to know nationwide, as Daryl Jones, my mighty co-leader, my brilliant, visionary, hardworking co-leader said, that we want you to come to Brunswick. Don't be talking about I would have been there with King. Don't be talking about I would have been there with Rosa. Don't be talking about I would have stood with Fannie. Don't be talking about I would have been there and never allowed that to happen to Emmett Till. Come on, this is your moment. You can be present. Come to Brunswick. Be at the court watch. Stand with us. Amplify the message, the beautiful, powerful, amazing message that Reverend Dr. Barber gave today. I want you to know that there is room for you. Come, join us, and march with us next Thursday with the Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Barbara, for those comments and that excitement. And, you know, as Barbara has indicated, every Thursday,
Yes.
until this trial is concluded, We will be marching here in Brunswick, Georgia, demanding justice for Ahmaud, demanding that people get involved, and that people get out and be certain they exercise that right to vote. Why do we talk about that right to vote when we're here talking about justice for Ahmaud? Well, let me tell you, we believe that there's something that's called an intersection, and it's an intersection of voting rights and justice. That intersection was displayed here in Brunswick. It was displayed when Jacqueline Johnson, the prosecutor, the elected prosecutor for Glenn County, decided not to proceed with the appropriate investigation into the shooting and killing of Ahmaud Arbery. It happened when Jacqueline Johnson did not bring charges against her former employee. One of the investigators in the case, Greg McMichaels, he was also a member of the Glenn County Police Department. So when we hear that, we know what the Arbery family did, because what they did was they recognized what the Glenn County State's Attorney was not doing. Yes. They recognized that she was trying to give them the okey doke, the flim flam, trying to say one thing, do another thing, and they called her out. She got caught on it. And so they got behind another candidate that was running for state's attorney in Glenn County. And they had to do it as a write-in because they were beyond the time for anybody to be able to sign up to run for state's attorney. So they had to first petition, get the signatures on a petition to get the person on the ballot. They were able to do that. Then came the biggest step, and that was getting rid of that state's attorney that was there in Jacqueline Johnson. And they were able to do it. It was the power of the vote that removed that shady prosecutor from office. So when you hear us talking about the intersection of voting rights and justice, that's an example of what we're talking about. It's the vote. It's the vote that puts the chief of police in place, because the chief of police is determined by the mayor or county executive. It's the vote that puts the judge in place, that sits to listen and make a decision as to whether or not it's correct to have 11 of the 12 black jurors removed. Understand what I'm saying, folks. It was the discretion of the judge. The judge could have said, y'all lying. This is not the reason you're removing it, and reinstated those jurors. But it's the vote that puts that judge in that seat. So that's why we talk about the importance of voting rights in the American criminal justice system. So when we're out in the streets and we're out there doing our marches all through Brunswick, you'll see us carrying the banner with John Lewis on it, talking about the importance of voting. If not us, then who? Right. If not now, then when? That's the question. That's what's being presented to us right now. As we like to say, this is your Emmett Till moment. Don't be up here talking about you would have fought back during slavery and you won't come off the sidewalk right now when no one's after you. Come on. This is what we're talking about. This is what we need right now. Right now. And if you're not willing to get in the streets, stop talking about justice. Because this is what it's all about. It's about not being a spectator, but being a participant. You got to get off the sidewalk, get in the street, and march with us. And march with us. That's what this is about. LaDominique, this has been your first march with us down here in Brunswick. And I gotta ask you, I saw you walking around, you had this shocked look on your face when you saw all these people, heard all this chanting going on and the sign going on and the fist in the air, and you saw the community coming out. We have to ask you, gotta ask you, LaDominique, what were your impressions? What were you feeling as you walked along with us during this march?
Well, good evening, first and foremost, thank you all so much for being here, Mr. Arbery. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you've done and for being an example for what we do for our families, what we do for our children, no matter what we do for our children. So thank you, first of all. Secondly, my buddy Daryl D. Jones. You got to say Daryl D. Jones. I love a good march. So I wouldn't be in this work if I didn't love a good march. But yeah, I marched along with everyone today, and I'll tell you some of the things that I saw that were a little different than some of the other marches that I've been on.
Tell us.
I saw people coming out on the corners.
Yeah.
I saw people on the porches.
Yeah.
And not only did I see that, I've seen that in other places. Here's where it was a little different. I saw Daryl D. Jones, and I saw Miss Barbara say, "Come on, join us. Come on, babies. Get off the court. Come on, get off the porches. Come on with us. Come on with us." And that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. And I know that wasn't the first time they've done it. I could tell. I said, this is what they do every week. I said, they do this every week. And I'm telling you right now, if you are watching this, come out and join them. Come to Brunswick. Come to Brunswick. You need to be here. You need to feel this energy. There was a moment where I actually had to break off a little bit from the march, and I just needed to walk alone for a minute, and I just needed to take it all in, and I did, and I wept. I just cried. I just cried as I just thought about everything, and I thought about the fact that this child. You know, this child he was 5 years older than my child. Yeah. You know, it could have been any of our children. It really could have. So I thought about that. And if you give me one more minute, I got to say something about this whole pastor intimidation thing. I must look, and I will tell you. So Reverend Barber told me that I could be free tonight. I think he might regret it, but he told me that I could be free tonight. And so I know that I heard my mama say that you're not intimidating just because somebody might be intimidated. So that's first and foremost. That does not mean that you are intimidating just with your presence. And if somebody is feeling some kind of way, maybe it's because they just see the face of Jesus interlocking with justice right there in the courtroom, and they don't have to say a word. See, but that doesn't just have to be black clergy. It could be white clergy, Hispanic clergy, Asian clergy. So I'm like, if you ban the black ones, the white ones coming. If you ban the white ones, the Asian ones are coming. You ban the Asian ones, the Hispanic ones are coming. Jesus keeps showing up. He keeps showing up.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you, La Dominique. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up, La Dominique Hamilton. Deputy Director Communications for the Poor People's Campaign, an all-around marcher, because she marches all over the place, all over the country. You look up and you never know where you're going to see La Dominique marching. But you know, so one of the things that that we have found astonishing is that they think that at some point in time that the Transformative Justice Coalition and the Arbery family are just going to disappear.
Right.
That somehow that somehow we will not be outside the courtroom, that somehow we won't have our lunch for our people outside on the parking lot, that somehow they won't hear the chanting of justice for Ahmaud when they walk out of those courthouse doors. But there's a message for them. There's a message for them. And I think it came in the way of a song that was being sung today, saying that we will not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, we will not be moved. And they need to understand that message, because we're not going to be moved. They think that we'll be moved after we have the convictions in the case that's coming right now. We'll be here for the federal hate crime trial that's following. But we don't stop there, because we believe in completeness.
Yes.
And the completeness would say, we'll be here when Jacqueline Johnson has to stand trial for what she did. Or more correctly, what she didn't do.
That's right.
Because she was sworn in to protect the citizens of Glenn County that were the victims of crime.
Right.
And when the victims of crime happen to be people that have faces that look like everyone that's sitting up here at this table, somehow that fell short.
Yes.
But oh my goodness, the Bishop Barber did not say today that we don't need Jacqueline Johnson for justice. We look higher than Jacqueline Johnson.
Yes.
Because there was an entity, if I heard him correctly, Barbara, there was an entity that made man, that made woman, that determiner of justice. And that entity, that person we call God, is going to see justice come through. And will have justice throughout this case. It'll be completed. It will be complete justice. Not just justice for the McNichols, but also justice for Jacqueline Johnson. But I'm going to tell you, we don't stop there, because the Transformative Justice Coalition is calling right now, tonight, on President Joe Biden to direct Merrick Garland, his person that is the Attorney General for the United States of America, to put in place, to begin to launch a federal investigation into the Glenn County Police Department for what has happened in this case. We ain't playing. We ain't playing. We're not playing. No. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. You know, I used the statement, I'll use it again. It's time to turn on the lights, pull back the sheets, and let's see what's in this bed. So with that, you know, I want to bring in Marcus Alberg.
Oh, yes.
Because we know that while Barbara and I have been here, that we've been able to meet a lot of people and been able to encourage members of the community to come out, and they've participated, and they're continuing to participate, and they'll continue to come out. And as both Bishop Barber as well as Reverend Al Sharpton said, you know, we try to bring things from the national level to show the support for the family. We're not trying to replace, we're not trying to overrun, but what we are trying to do is encourage.
Yes.
And sometimes folks just need encouragement to come out, to let them see that it's okay. But let me tell you, and this is my introduction of Marcus. This is a man who did not need national encouragement to come out. This is a man who was going down to Jacqueline Johnson's office, to the police department every day, demanding to know what happened to his son. So it's not a matter of, for Marcus, it wasn't a matter of anyone having to have his back. He had his own back because he knew that he needed to have his family protected. So, you know, Marcus, you've now gotten to the point that it started with just you. Just you. But now Today, when you march with us, leading the march with us, knowing that behind you was Bishop Barber, knowing that behind you has been Reverend Sharpton. Coming up next, this upcoming Thursday, behind you will be Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr. Knowing that behind you is a nation that is standing here, that's praying for you, that if they can't make it, they're praying.
Tell them what happened when we got to the parking lot today.
If they can't make it, they're praying. They're with you all kinds of ways. They're there. And they want you to feel their presence. You know, I saw you today as Bishop Barber was talking about Ahmad.
Yes.
And he was explaining how Ahmad had that interest in being an electrician.
Yes.
And how he would go into the houses and just to see what's the electrical work like.
Yes.
What are the concepts? What's the lighting going to be like? What type of lighting fixtures? Where will they put the lighting? Will it be a sconce or will it be something on a ceiling? I'm amazed. I'm intrigued. I just want to know. I want to see what the ideas are.
Yes.
And it was because of that interest, as Barbara talked about as a child, everyone has different interests.
Yes.
And it's something that sparks your interest, that makes you just want to go. You know, when you're a little child, right, you get excited when you see this outlet with energy, right? You know that when things are plugged in, that things come on, right? And so you want to go and say, well, what if I put my finger in it, right? Well, I'm curious. I just want to know what's going to happen. It's that curiosity that we don't want to ever have killed. No one should die for their curiosity because of their creativity. That's what this was about. And when Bishop Barber talked about Ahmad's ability to dream, and that this dream that he was trying to bring into a reality, he wanted to just see and understand how big that dream could get, how broad that dream could get. And so, Marcus, when you heard Bishop Barber talking about this, when you know and heard Reverend Sharpton talking about this, hearing all of us talk about this, what is the message? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What do you want to say to that child who is now 14, 15 years old, who wants to run, who wants to be an electrician, who wants to have that dream? What message do we send out?
Dream. Don't let nothing stop it. Don't let no racial bystander stop your dreams. Keep dreaming and keep pushing for your dreams. Keep going. You know, you got a whole life ahead of you to dream of what you want. And if you try to keep pushing to those goals, those dreams gonna come true. No matter what nobody say or say it ain't. You believe in that. And you keep going. Keep on going, because I tell you, nothing like having goals already set, and you pushing so hard to meet those goals, and then you got people that just don't understand you. But you got people with a heart that understand you. They're gonna say, "Wow, that child dreaming, and he's trying to make his goals come true." So don't never let nobody take that from you. Nobody. If God don't take it, come on, y'all. No man or woman ain't got no business taking it from you. Come on. Ooh, Lord. What God got for you, he got for you. All right. Nobody take it from you. Ooh, God. Nobody. Nobody. You dream. And you keep pushing for your dreams. Don't let nobody stop that. You know what? Sometimes, you know, your mama say, "Oh, boy, you ain't going to do that." Your mama even tell you ain't going to do that. You ain't going to be able to do that. Hey, sometimes you got to say, "Mama, Keep believing in your dreams. And guess what? Mama going to fall in line after a while. My boy did it. My boy did it. My boy did it. Look at him. Boy, he's shining. My boy made it. Sometimes mama doubt you. Sometimes. Because they say, "Boy, it's too hard for you." You keep on going with your dreams. And get what? Mama gonna fall in line. She gonna help you out. I'm going to tell y'all, mama, something. What children want to be, let them be it. Don't you push them what you want them to be. That's where you're making your mistake at. Let them have their own dreams. That's what I used to tell my children mama all the time. I said, let them live their life and do what they want to do. When you done learn them all the birds and the bees and the in and out, let them choose their own dreams. You don't think they're going to bump and fall sometime? And you know how many times you fall and how many times you get back up and keep going. I'm telling you. I ain't lying. There's so many times you keep going and get up and keep going. Don't never tell me what you want him to be or she to be. Let him choose that himself. When he choose that himself, then he going to be happy what he do. I'm telling you. Because when you have them doing what you want to do, they're going to be sad. But when they do what they want to do, they're going to be so happy and proud. And guess what? You're going to be proud too. I'm telling you. All right.
You know, how much more can you say about Marcus Aubrey? How much more can you say? You know, I think the last teletown hall that we did, I tried to describe what I think is the character of the man.
Yes, you did.
And he demonstrates it every time. He's consistent with who he is. You know, he says what he means, and he means what he says. And he is a man of his word. You know, it's what I tell folks all the time. There are some people that will say anything to get next to you when they think something is in it for them. There's some people that will want to be next to you because they think you have something. They think you might get something. And so they want to be there in case something should spill over.
Right.
So they're there to collect it.
Oh, yeah.
But let trouble come your way. That very same person who was all up under you trying to be a friend, gone, moving. You're going to see the white of their heels is all you're going to see because they're going to be running away from you, not towards you. But Marcus Aubrey, let me tell you, Marcus Aubrey is one of the people, and I said it before and I'll say it again, that when trouble hits, and he is your friend, your friend, if you are his friend, when trouble hits, he's not busy trying to get away. He is busy pushing people to the side, but he's pushing people to the side that are trying to get away from you so he can get to you, so he can help you. That's the type of person that he is. And that's what he's been displaying about the death of Ahmaud. He's been pushing people out of the way. He knows whatever the community was saying, whatever the community was saying, he's pushing them out of the way because he needs to get to the truth of what happened and justice for his son. That's what has attracted Barbara Arnwine and the Transformative Justice Coalition to come down here. That's what has attracted Reverend Al Sharpton to come down here. That's what has attracted Bishop Barber to come down here. That's the reason why Reverend Jesse Jackson will be here on Thursday. And so people ask the question, well, you know, do you think that the white folks that are down here are, you know, do they understand what's going on? Do you think that that this jury that's predominantly white will be able to bring justice for Ahmaud and have a criminal conviction? Well, you know, one of the things that happened as we return from our march this late afternoon, and we had no idea who this gentleman was, but he saw us unloading all of our Justice for Ahmaud signs. He saw us unloading the vest from our COVID marshals and saw us unloading the Protect Our Vote with John Lewis signs. And he saw our buttons, our Protect the Vote buttons. And he asked the question, are you all, have you been attending the trial? Are you here for the trial? And, you know, not that it should matter, but he was a white gentleman. And we said, yeah, yes, sir, you know, we are. And he stopped. And he said, I'm going out for my evening walk, but I just have to say this. I hope they get them. I hope they get them. Because it doesn't make sense what they're trying to say that they're somehow in self-defense when they got guns, and there are 3 of them against one young black man with no gun. So it doesn't make sense to me. And he said that he was hopeful that the right justice will be reached and that they'll be convicted. And then, Barbara, he sort of trailed off, but if I heard him correctly, he said that I don't think they should ever see the light of day again. And so, with regards to the question that's with this jury that's here, you know, I've said it before, Barbara said it before, and we've heard others. I think that we even heard one of the attorneys, Ben Crump, say it before. This is a test right now for Glenn County.
Yes.
This is a test for Glenn County.
Yes.
And the question that will be before Glenn County and this jury is, how far have you come? You have all the evidence in front of you that you need. How far have you come? It's a jury of 11 whites and 1 black and 3 white alternates. So should the 1 black gentleman that's on there, for whatever reason, should he not be able to make it, then you will have an all-white jury. The question is, how far has Glenn County come? But it goes beyond that, because the real question will be, how far has America come? How far has our justice system come? That's the real question that's about to be asked. And Barbara Armwine has a question that she wants to ask of each of you. Barbara?
Yes, I have a couple questions. Had Satilla Shores been an integrated neighborhood, would this have happened? No. It happened because it was a white neighborhood. So one of the culprits here is racial segregation in housing. Let's think about that. When Marcus was talking, my head went back to all the people who told me, you can't. When I was accepted into high school, when I was accepted into college, my high school principal called me into his office and said they made a mistake.
Talk about it.
Said, you're not college material. When I applied to law school, and I went to the dean at that time of students and asked her for my reference, the dean's statement. She told me, I won't do it. She said, you're not law school material. I had to go to the president of the school, who knew me not because of the fact that he thought I was a nice person, but because I was an activist. That's the only reason why he knew who I was. Because I was out there saying, Mr. Curtis, you better integrate this school. Mr. Curtis, you better get some black teachers. Mr. Curtis, you better. And that's the only reason why he knew who I was. And he saw what she did. He picked up the phone, I kid you not. And he said to her, send me every file on Barbara Arnwine. You are not to do anything else with her application to law school. He picked up the phone, he called the prior dean. He said, you were dean for Barbara for 3 years. I want you to write her letter of recommendation. And she said, of course I will. You see, the blocks are there all the time with somebody telling you what you can't do. How many of you have had somebody tell you, you can't, you can't, you can't, you can't, you're not good enough, you're not the material? My father told me when I went to college, he said, baby, he said, I don't want you to go to college. He didn't. He said because it'll make you seek too much, want too much, that it's going to destroy you inside because you won't be able to get it. And I looked at him and I said, Daddy, I love you, but I got to go on my own path. And I got to seek what I got to seek. So I want to say to you, because there are entrepreneurs in this room. There are politicians in this room. There are community activists in this room. There are leaders like Marcus in this room. You see, God, when he moves, people think our God is limited. They think that when we say justice for Ahmaud, that we just mean a conviction. They don't realize that when God moves, he moves broadly. Broadly. I remember I was mad once in my life because I couldn't get I had really renovated this house really greatly while I was living it as a tenant, and they wouldn't renew it because they loved what I had done and they wanted to move back in it. And I was so upset, so angry. But it forced me to get out there, and guess what I did? I bought my own home. And sometimes God moves in ways that you don't understand. He broadens your horizons. He broadens the expectations. I expect Glenn County to be better. I expect that people white people in this community, like the gentleman we met, will say, because we saw that white juror who looked at the McMichaels across the stand and said, we don't want you in Satilla Shores. We don't want you coming back. We don't need people like you. We don't want people like you. You know, because remember, folks, when Dr. Barber said today, LaMonique, when he said it today, LaMonique, that it could have been any of us, remember that the shot from the gun went into the house in the neighborhood and barely missed a baby. Barely missed a baby. So let's understand, it's not hypothetical, it's real. It's real. Dr. King said that we are what? We are of a common garment, one common destiny. That what happens to one of us happens to all. That we got to understand that we are not, there's no way on earth you can run a city like this and only do it with one race or the other. You got to have all of us. It takes all of us. So I want us to understand that in this moment that we stand on, we're on a precipice. We're on a precipice of either regression. People want to go back to the 50s, and we know what that means. Or people who want to go forward to a new society that's multiracial and equal. We have those choices, and God will keep moving as he's moving with all of you, as he's laying his mighty hand not only on your person, not only on your spirit, he's laying his hand on everything that is your essence. And he's saying, I got a plan, and I'm going to work it. He says, I'm sorry that man is evil and does evil things, but I'm going to take Ahmaud, and out of his murder, I'm going to resurrect, as Dr. Barber said, a new Glenn County, a new spirit, a new leadership. I'm going to do these things because that's what I do as a God. That's my power. So I had to, Daryl, ask those questions. How many of you are committed? Because you've been out there every day. How many of you will continue to stand with us? They tried to divide us. They tried to divide us. They didn't want Marcus and us even talking. They tried to divide us. They tried to make us pledge that we wouldn't talk about race. They tried to. The devil's been busy, folks. And it takes our having a common love, a common commitment to what you call justice. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. I just had to say that, Daryl. Yes, so it's time for closing remarks. Lamonique, would you like to make your closing remark?
Ooh, Lord, have to go after Miss Barbara Arnwine is woo. I'm going to tell you, your opening statement, there was something that you said, and I've been resonating on it all evening. And it was that quote by Jacqueline Johnson. Yes. Just the idea that someone would say, go home. Yes. And clean yourself up. Yes. But she said it as a cover-up. Right. But this is how you can turn bad into good. Because we need to say that to ourselves as a wake-up call and as a mantra to move forward. When we get beat down, when they try to divide us, when we're sweaty, when we're tired, and as Bishop Barbara said today, when we are tired, but not tired in our body, just tired. We're tired of being sick and tired, you know? And when we're weary, we have to remind ourselves, go home and clean yourself up and come on back and fight it again another day. So I know what she meant it for, but we're going to take that and turn it on its head. No. Thank you.
Y'all know, y'all awesome. You know, it always been rough for us black people. You know, our grandparents, they went through a lot. They make it better for us. But guess what? They left that prayer down, though. All our people ever had was a strong prayer life. That's why we are the chosen one. Because I tell you one thing, like I tell a lot of white guys, man, you wouldn't want to be black. Stay in your race because you couldn't deal with what we done deal with. The struggle we went through, you wouldn't last 1 hour. I'm just telling you, we strong people. We are some strong people. God know what he was doing when he created us. He know what he was doing. He said, I got to have these people here because they're going to fight that struggle. So God knows exactly what he was doing. That's why I tell them, man, you couldn't stand the struggle my people that went through. My black people go through every day. You wouldn't last with it. So you better stay on the other side. Please stay on the other side because my people are strong. We love the sun. The sun give us strength. We get strong, we go in the sun. What happened to them when they go in the sun? It tear them down. It tear them down. I'm just telling the truth. It tear them down. You hate this color, this old dark color, but why you want to get it? Why you want to lay in the sun and try to get our color, though? But y'all hate us. Come on, but you want to be that color. You want that tan color, that dark. You want it. I see you. You put on your little bathing suit. You want that dark color because the other color don't look right. Boy, that dark thing, it's something about it. Look at that. Look how beautiful that dark is. This our future here. He gonna bring us some more dark color babies. Strong babies. Man, we ain't gonna let y'all kill no more our babies. This finna start now. Cause our babies the future. They're gonna keep bringing them strong football players. Them strong doggone weightlifters, winning them bodybuilding contests. Hey, man, let's keep our race together. Hey, I ain't hating on the white now, because all white ain't bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm just telling you. We love everybody. But we got to know the truth, though. We can't keep lying by our lives, because lying ain't doing my people no good. When you stand in the blind, that's mean you're going to be lost. And get what they say. If you don't stand for nothing, what happens? All right. All right. Love y'all.
That's too funny. Thank you, You know, Marcus, you said that. You said that, Marcus. You know, I just, it's my closing comment. My closing comment, again, is dream. Dream big. Dream. Oh, I see we've been joined by Commissioner Felicia Harris. Oh, wow. Commissioner Harris, did you want to say something before we close out?
I just want to say, Jeremiah 29:11.
Come on.
That's what he's supposed to say. God knows the plans that he has for us. And it's for our building of strength and not for our demise. He knows the plans that he has for us. And he is bringing that plan together. And he's showing us as Elijah's servant had to be shown. He said, when he stepped out on that porch, and it looked like everything was going against him, he said, Lord, open the eyes of my servant.
Well,
That he might see that there are more for us than there are against us.
yes.
What the tricks are being turned and the things that are being played are the same cards.
Yes.
The enemy ain't got nothing new.
Hey.
Come on.
Hey.
All right.
Just keep playing the same old hand.
Yes.
Over and over again.
Over.
But it was God that gave his children and dealt his children a new hand.
All right.
A new hand has been dealt.
Yes. Come on now.
A new hand has been dealt here in the county of Glen.
Yes.
Not just the city. That's right. The entire county. Because when God deals with a thing, he deals with the entirety of it.
That's right. That's
It
right.
wasn't enough for him to just stop in the city. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. But he had to deal with the entirety. Come on. Of the root of it. Come on.
Yes. Yes.
Come on. Show their face. Come on. They show their face. And so I just want to encourage, man, I think encourage each and every person that's here. God knows the plans that he has for us. And he's bringing those things together.
That's right.
And he's bringing people together.
Yes.
He's bringing nations together. He's bringing all nationalities together. And so this thing isn't just a domestic thing. It's an international. It's international. And I was telling Diane and her friend in the car today, we gave them was for April. And I was telling them, I said, only God, we know that this is divine. Because only God could have used COVID to stop the entire
World. Put us all on top.
Because as black people, as African American people, we've been singing this song. We hadn't just started marching. We hadn't just singing We Shall Overcome. We hadn't been singing that for the last year or 2 years. We've been singing that for a lifetime.
Yes.
This has been a lifetime journey. But God stopped the entire world, nationally and internationally, that everybody, because they took what we were saying to say, oh, they didn't come with the same old song.
Right.
The same old thing. But he stopped the whole world.
Yes.
For the whole world to see, to listen, to stop, and to listen. And to hear that what we have been crying out for years
Come on.
has not just been because we're black people.
That's right.
It's been because it's not right.
That's right.
Come on.
Yes.
That's right.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so God had to do this.
Yeah.
And as I told y'all the last time, don't count that one out. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I got you.
All right. All right. And I want you to know that I had to call on Commissioner Harris because she made all these marches possible. Because see you morning. Because she told the sheriff to take care of us. Because she used her position the right way. Because a whole lot of people got power, and what do with it? They traded for favors for themselves. But she is a righteous woman. And I had to have her speak because she had a message that she brought to us. Jeremiah. All right now, 29:11. Let's do this. So I want everybody, as you know, my last word, as I pass this mic to my mighty co-leader, I just want to say, everybody, we, the Transformative Justice Coalition, we're committed. When God asked Job, when God asked Satan, what was he doing? What had he been up to? What did he say? He said, I've been going to and fro, seeing who I can divide or destroy. Divide and destroy. People, whenever you hear division, division is not good. This unity is not good. It's of the devil. It is important for us, whenever we got a dividing spirit, to fight it. To reach out, which is hard to do. Because sometimes, you know, we all can get to that spirit where we say, honey, I don't need you. I don't need to be bothered with you. Because that's the spirit that will take you. But God doesn't see it that way. He sees unity as beautiful. It's celebrated in the Bible. This unity is not what we need. And because this unity leads to destruction. You know, the beauty of the Arbery family was that their parents told them, stick together, children. And we know that the reason why we came to Brunswick was because we knew that the family was fighting to stay together and to do God's will. And we just want to remind people nationwide that when tragedy hits, don't let grief tear you apart. Don't let grief and anger take over your being. Unite together. Come together. Be like this family did, where they put their heads together, worked together, fought together. That's why we're here, because they did that. And I want to say to every family in the nation that confronts a tragedy, because I've seen what happens to families. It destroys families. I've seen people can't talk to each other, don't move across the country away from each other. I've seen the hate. I've seen marriages dissolve. I've seen relationships be destroyed. That's why it's important that we lift up the Arbery family, to show people across the nation how we can overcome grief, how we can turn tragedy into victory, that how we can walk out of this situation triumphant, because we know the beauty of unity.
You know, I want to take this opportunity to thank La Monique Hamilton for being on this panel. Also want to thank Marie Roberts for all that she has done in being supportive. Family. Marcus Arbery for simply being Marcus Arbery. And the entire Arbery family that has shown America how to come together, how to rally around, how to circle the wagons.
And Daryl, let's let are preparing lunch for tomorrow. That's why they're not here. They're cooking and preparing lunch for tomorrow. That's how the Arbery family rolls. That's right. That's what I love about it.
So it's just a phenomenal family unit is what you're seeing that is supportive of one another and should be emulated by every family throughout this country, the love that they display for one another. Also, want to certainly reach out and thank all the friends and supporters that have come, whether they were in Brunswick or other parts of Georgia or other parts of the United States, all that have lifted prayers and have come down to, at their own expense, come down to Georgia or come down with TJC. Want to thank all of them for what they have been doing and continue to do, and encourage them to continue doing it. So we're very appreciative of that. Want to thank all of you that are here for coming out to this Teletown Hall, knowing that you will take the message back of what you've learned here and encourage people to come out next Thursday at 2 o'clock to march with us.
Yes!
To march with us, to be with us. And so, with that, and I always say thank you to Barbara Arnwine, because, she is one of the people that really pushes and does everything to be certain that we are as great as we can be in this movement for justice for Ahmaud. So thank you so much, Barbara Arnwine. Also want to thank the folks here, the owners of this restaurant, as well as the great staff here. Folks, if y'all come down to Brunswick, be certain to stop at Lady K's. It's a phenomenal black-owned business that is not just a black-owned business, it's a good business. And they serve excellent food and hot food and some of the best salmon you'll come across and some of the best chicken you'll come across. So certainly, folks, please support Lady K's restaurant. Now, as we close out, as I make these closing comments, a lot has been said this evening with regards to our marches, with regards to the jury selection, with regards to the white community in Glenn County and the moment that we're in. I want to be certain that we're clear that each of the marches that we have had here in Glenn County, in Brunswick, we have had a substantial portion of the white community that has come out to join in with us. And it doesn't stop there.
There you go.
We have had a cross section of the community that has come out. We've had a Latino community that has come out. Not that they were invited, but they saw what was happening and said, we need to be a part of this. And they would join in on the marches. So, we see the moment coming here in Brunswick. Commissioner, we see the moment coming with regards to the community coming together, and those that are different than one another coming together and say there's more that we have that is similar than is dissimilar. And we all have a common theme for which we want to live, and that is one of togetherness and love. And it's moving in that direction. So I'm really excited to see that moving in that manner. Now, we do encourage everyone to come out next week on Monday, beginning with the court watch. So we'll have people that are on the front lawn beginning at 10 o'clock. And tomorrow, excuse me, I forgot what day it was. You can come join us Friday at 10 o'clock, Monday at 10 o'clock, and every day there's court, we'll be there. And so we encourage you to come out and be in front of that court watch, come out and support the Arbery family, come sit for justice, come stand for justice, come march for justice. We got it all going on. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much. We encourage everyone to go to TJC_DC. If you want information with regards to the marches and all that we have going on, go to info@tjc.org. And we can find all of the information about everything that TJC that's going on here in Brunswick, Georgia. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all and have a great evening.
Thank you.
God's bless.